Hola a todos, sean bienvenidos una vez más a nuestro canal Axis. En el día de hoy estamos jugando de Stanley Parable. Bueno, comencemos.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Bueno, más o menos sé de qué trata la
Stanley
historia,
worked for a
pero
company in a
nunca lo
big
jugué.
building where
Y ya
he
que lo
was
tenía en la biblioteca
employee
de
number
Epic Game, dije, bueno,
427.
salió gratis,
Employee
vamos a
number
subirla.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room
Todo el día sentado.
427 and he pushed
Estaba en
buttons on
cuarentena
the
seguro.
keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Qué
This
divertido.
is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
No sé si es que no hay texturas ahí o está hecho a propósito, pero
And
no me
then
da.
one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
A
He
ver.
had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to
Qué
follow.
garrón, ¿no?
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. Elation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and
¿Puedo agarrar
stepped
cosas?
out of his office.
¿Qué pasa si me quedo adentro? A ver. Qué feo, no tiene ni siquiera ventanas, es como todo un pijazo esto. ¿Me puedo echar? Me puedo echar, bien. Vamos, ya fue.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Se fueron.
What could it mean?
Tiene las
Stanley
cosas
decided to go
del,
to the meeting room.
del
Perhaps he was
CS
supposed to
Source.
memo.
Va, el CS
No
Source, del
matter how
Half-Life.
hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Hasta donde yo sé, no es de terror, es como más de... Vamos a explorar. Che, ¿puedo pasar por acá? Se fueron todos, la concha larga. ¿Qué es esto? Odio los lunes.
Stanley came to
Ah,
a set of
cierto,
two
acá el
open
narrador
doors.
te dice por dónde
He
tenés
entered
que
the
ir.
door on his left. This was
¡Oso!
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he
Sí,
wanted to
sí,
stop
sí.
by the employee
Te va a
lounge
hacer caso y
first,
todo.
just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after
Sí, es
all,
hermosa, ¿no?
just to
Podemos
spend
estar
a
acá un
few
rato
moments
largo.
here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
¿Me puedo subir a uno de
Stanley
estos?
simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Voy a apreciar toda la sala. Voy a quedarme apreciando un rato largo.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Leta.
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Bueno, vamos a seguir, dale.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room.
Era
Took the
hermosa.
first open door on his left to get back to business.
¿Hay alguien allá? No. Pero yo que vi una silueta. A ver, ¿tendría que ir por acá o por acá? Vamos a ir por acá esta vez.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Me gustan los botones rojos, así que voy a tocar acá, dale. Vamos. Bueno, son las 6 de la mañana. Tenía que tener grabado algo ya. Pero no, a último momento siempre. Ah. Ni siquiera sabe por dónde mandarme. Y de derecha no puedo ir, así que... Tiene que tener... Estaba pensando hacer un GTA 5.exe. Ok. Rompamos... Decidite, flaco. Como les decía, que había pensado hacer un GTA 5.exe. mostrando cómo es las partidas públicas en el GTA V. Pero, por antes de que caiga, sentí que iba a arrancar y me iba a matar. Bueno, quería grabarlo y mostrar cómo son las partidas públicas, que son siempre un quilombo. Una vez me acuerdo que yo me metí y había un hacker y hizo aparecer un montón de aviones en el cielo que se te mandaban encima. Entré, no me mataron. No me mataron, nadie se mataba, nadie estaba haciendo nada, todos estaban en una punta distinta del mapa. Y yo, una vez que les pido quilombo, no hacen. Una cosa les pedí, una alegría deme. No sé, hay una puerta acá. Ah, sí, hay una puerta, dije, ¿cómo estaba esto acá? Creo que le desaplané la curva al narrador. ¡Opa!
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just
¿Está bien?
get back to oh, who am I
¿Ya
kidding?
está?
It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. Rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
¿Qué? Me reinició el juego. Hijo de puta. Reinicio el juego posta.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Nah, dale, no me rompa la bola. No, yo pienso volver por ahí.
Decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
¿Sabes qué? Voy corriendo. ¿Puedo los pies? No.
When Stanley... Wait.
What?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
Rompí el juego.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Claro, ¿no?
It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then.
Primera vez que lo juego y ya... Uy.
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Opa. Hay tantos caminos. Podría ir por la misma vuelta. Pero... ¿no puedo ir por acá? No. Claro, primera vez que lo juego por acá. Primera vez que lo juego. Y ya lo rompí. Rompió el juego. Uy, qué tétrico que es esto. No, por ahí está oscuro, no quiero ir por donde está oscuro.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
Estaba acá,
Do we just
pero desapareció.
need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No, pará, no. Me reinició el juego de vuelta.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
¿Puedo tocar cosas?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ay, Dios santo. Está bueno el juego igual, me está gustando. A ver.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong.
Dale.
The story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Se rompió mi juego. ¿Me puedo quedar acá? Bueno, me voy. La concha. Che, se cayó. Se cayó el café. ¿El café? ¿La oficina tiene ventana ahora?
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Muy bien. Ya recuperamos la historia.
No, wait. Never
No,
mind.
no recuperamos
Not
la
the
historia.
story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
No, estoy corriendo en círculos. ¿Qué? ¿Cuál? ¿Qué? Oh, man.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all.
¿Es esta la historia?
I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Flashbacks.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
A
how
ver.
about this?
¿Qué tal esto?
You win! Congratulations!
¡Ganamos!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So,
What?
good job.
What?
Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
¿Por qué?
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No, dale, la tercera vez no. Bueno, tercera es la vencida, supongo. Me puse una línea, dale, boludo.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line.
Okay.
How simple is that?
Mirá que yo entiendo las cosas. Tardo en entender las cosas, Tenés que ser comprensivo.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Ah. Bueno, voy a extrañar su voz. Se lo dejaremos a la línea ahora. Me encanta. Llego a la cosa de pantalla. ¡No! ¡Spoilers!
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this
Guau,
direction.
guau,
Onward, Stanley, to
guau.
destiny.
Esperá.
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
Se puede seguir por
Simply by
acá.
the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
You need to follow the train,
The
CJ.
nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence. Right?
No puedo ir por la par yo.
Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we
Mira, el
need
empleado
right now
6.
is
¿Y
a
el
bit
empleado
of
1?
music to lighten the mood.
Más vale que no tenga copyright. Qué buen juego. Me estoy quedando sordo, tengo volumen muy alto.
Cut the music.
Au.
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
Okay.
You won't want to miss anything.
O capaz me estás... Es una distracción para que no vea lo que hay adelante. Me estás boludeando.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Back
¿qué?
at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ya no entiendo nada. Y volvimos a las 400. Estamos en la 6. No, por acá ya habíamos venido. Vamos para acá, a ver. Ah, no, esto nos lleva no, nos lleva de vuelta acá. Pero voy a ver si me dice algo si voy para acá. ¿Me decís algo? ¿Narrador?
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
A ver, yo me fui por acá. Pero esto es para volver a mi oficina. Bien. Entonces, esta vez tendría que ir por acá. Supongo yo.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you,
¿Yo qué?
after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Dale. Es la primera que juego. Narrador.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story?
Woo!
Something exciting.
Telltale.
Something mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Mira, otras opciones no veo que tenga, así que...
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do
Estoy
you
corriendo en
want our
círculos.
story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
No entiendo nada. Bueno, rompí al narrador sin querer.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms.
Bueno,
Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
me encanta porque tiene los subtítulos, están hechos mierda. Están todos mal hechos. Pero bueno, no quería leerlo en inglés, me daba fiaca. Bueno, la línea se rompió también. Rompí el juego. Primera vez que lo juego y lo rompí.
Ah, a choice.
Opa.
We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
Ay,
How important we mustn't squander the
con
opportunity.
cuidado ahora la
In
elección, a
fact,
ver.
I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
Voy para el otro lado
Which
yo.
means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And
O
that
sea-
in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
No te
So
entiendo.
starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic.
Vamos, la
Come,
lógica.
Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Y mira, para esta no puedo ir, así que...
Oh, hold up, what's this?
El final de confusión.
The confusion.
Hija mi... Jugué 16 minutos.
That's what this is. It's all one giant ending. And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight
Ocho veces
times?
más.
That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
La
So
puta
now,
madre.
according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really?
Oh,
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on.
uy.
I don't want to be trapped like
Lo
this.
puse en modo
I won't
revolucionario.
restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
En...
And the
Uy.
timer stopped. Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
No, rompimos el
The,
juego, ¿qué ciclo?
Whatever it is that made this schedule. How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
¿Me puedo sentar acá?
So, okay.
Sí, se toca.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way.
El narrador se va, yo muero.
Don't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll
¿No es
find out,
así?
won't we?
Eventualmente.
Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a
Cagué todo. Me reinició el juego, ¿qué pasó? Ok. The end is never. The end is never. Narrador. Narrador.
all of his co-workers were gone, what could it mean?
Narrador.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Rompió el narrador y el juego. MP partir. Ah, no, están las puertas, están las puertas.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps
Ah,
he
no,
wanted to
se
stop by
reinició,
the
se
employee
reinició de
lounge
verdad
first,
ahora.
just to admire it.
Está bien, está bien. Ahora vamos a seguir el camino que nos dice.
Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
A ver, fuimos por acá nosotros, pero no es el ascensor. Así que vamos por acá.
And so he
Pero no por el
detoured through
ascensor
the
ahora,
right
seguimos derecho.
section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
Muy bien. ¿Y esto qué es?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
Tips para que no
decided
te
to go
saquen
up
del
to his
trabajo.
boss's
Bien.
office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vamos a ver al jefe. Ahora veo que el padre está atrás de todo esto. Buenas. Padre, ¿estás acá? Padre.
Stepping into his
Me
manager's
cagué
office,
todo.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
¿Puedo ser admin?
Shocked,
Ah,
unraveled,
espera, me ponía algo
Stanley
acá.
wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But
2845.
of course, Stanley just sat around, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
Comencé a golpear todo.
by
Epa.
sheer luck.
¿Qué pasó?
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Esto es como el... Me siento como en The Truman Show, no sé por qué. Bueno, ahora supongo que nos va a dar el spoiler que nos dio antes. Pica la espalda, guacho. Rompí el juego de la primera partida.
Into the building,
Siento genial.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
¿Qué
Why did
tan
he
profundo
feel
es
this
este
now,
edificio?
when for years it had
¿Puedo ver?
never
Ahí
occurred
bajamos
to
del todo.
him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
No, no sigue bajando. Decí que ya sé que no es un juego de terror, si no
Stanley
estaría todo
walked straight
cagado.
ahead through the large
What?
door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ok.
The lights
Ah,
rose and an
ahora
enormous
sí.
room packed with
Nosotros
television
estábamos...
screens.
¿Dónde está? Estábamos arriba
What
nosotros.
horrible secret did this
Allá
place
estábamos
hold?
nosotros.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
¿Debe haber un eco acá adentro? Cámaras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
¿Cuántos hay?
Each bore the number of an
596. No, más
Stanley's
había.
co-workers. The lives
¿Puedo
of
tirar?
so many individuals
No.
reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ok. Es como la película Matrix. ¿Qué es esto?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Ah, ahora
it
puedo ver
couldn't
cuántos
be
son.
true.
500...
Had
Sí,
Stanley been under
596.
someone's control all this
Ah, no.
time?
600.
Was this the only
Y un
reason he
despedido.
was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
No entendí qué
It was
pasó, pero me subí.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Control mental
Happy
desactivado.
or sad,
Bien.
or
¿Puedo activarlo?
content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded
¿Hasta cuando voy al
from this
baño?
very place.
Mhm.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
La prendo, la desmantelo, la prendo, no, sí, no, sí, sí, no. Vamos a apagarla. Le tengo miedo a la oscuridad. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Me apagó el cerebro? Veo unas líneas ahí.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Veo cosas acá.
Yes.
¡Oh!
He had
¡Luz!
won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his
Soy libre,
co-workers
soy
gone?
libre, no trabajo
How
más para
had
el
he been
padre.
freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this
¿Qué pasó con todo lo que estaba
strange
atrás?
door hold?
No
But
importa.
as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not
Así me voy a
knowledge or
sentir yo
even
cuando termine la
power that he
cuarentena.
had been seeking, but
¡Luz!
happiness.
¡El sol!
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he
Podés terminar de
needed to
bajarme,
know.
quiero salir.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Quiero salir, quiero salir, quiero salir, quiero salir, quiero salir.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation. the
Todos
immense
nosotros cuando termine la
possibility of a
cuarentena,
new
la
path
concha de la lora,
before
todos
him.
encerrados.
This was exactly the
Ya hace
way,
semanas que no veo la
right
luz del
now,
sol,
that things were meant to happen.
Pa,
And Stanley was
was happy. Completar el juego, logro desbloqueado. Bien. Ah, yo sé que este juego tiene un logro que es... se llama inalcanzable. O algo así era. Que te lo dan de forma random. O sea, tenés chance de que te lo den al principio del juego, cuando estás jugando, cuando termina. Es como que... ¿What? Cambió
All of
todo.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hagamos un final más.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Estamos por ahí por la puerta de la izquierda. Ya fue. Bueno, fue lo mismo. Solo que más corto.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase,
No,
Stanley
abajo.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yo voy para el sótano.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he
No me
had
siento
left his
preparado
post
física ni
during
mentalmente para ver al
work hours.
jefe.
He might be fired for that. And in
What?
such a competitive economy,
What?
why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something
No, porque
occurred
mi
to
jefe
Stanley.
desapareció también.
Maybe, he thought
Y
to
todos se fueron
himself,
también. Pero
maybe
la
I
puta
am
madre.
crazy. All of my coworkers
Estoy dando vueltas
blinking
en círculos.
mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he walked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Pero la
And
puta
for that
madre.
matter, these rooms were
¿Cómo entra
starting
este
to
auto
look
acá?
pretty familiar. Were
No
they
hay un
simply
garage.
repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He
Pero la
just
puta
hadn't
madre.
found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This
Estoy
is all a
soñando.
dream. Oh,
Sí, claro.
what relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers
Pero la
weren't
puta madre.
actually
Un café.
gone. He wasn't
Un
going to lose his
café.
job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself,
Oh.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the
Opa,
ground.
opa, opa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much
Wow.
fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself
Acá
sooner.
viene el plot twist, a ver.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Vamos a romper la
Now
cuarta
the
pared.
voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about
Che, me está
how it's
cansando tener que dar
describing
vueltas
my
en círculos como un
thoughts, he
enfermo.
thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was
Pero la
Stanley
puta
simply
madre.
deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Estaría bueno que haya un narrador ahí de fondo en la vida real. Sería muy flashero, pero estaría bueno.
He knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this
Oh,
was,
quiero
in
vivir
fact, a
una
dream.
antología.
Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This
Por
voice
favor.
was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this
Me voy a quedar
was a
quieto
dream.
ya. A ver.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air
¿Qué
of the
juego me puse a
world
jugar,
outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue
Déjame que
pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Déjame que siga
I
trabajando con el
want my
padre.
apartment and my wife and my job.
Ah, ¿estoy casado?
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
Uy, qué aburrido este
Everything will
final.
be fine. I am okay.
Estoy bien. Me desperté.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is
Me
Stanley.
asusté.
I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Tengo el volumen muy alto.
And everything went black.
Tengo el volumen muy alto de los auriculares.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day,
¿Qué?
her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then
Estaba
collapsed
todo
dead on the
alucinando.
sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
Qué bueno que yo
I
soy
am
normal.
sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day.
¿Ahora puedo jugar con
There were
Mariela?
important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring
Qué morbosa
down at
se
the
queda
body,
viendo el cuerpo ahí.
and then she turned and ran.
Ok. ¿Cambió de vuelta? Voy a mirar un cacho más.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Bueno,
he
sí, ya está, va a ser lo mismo. Bueno, lo dejamos por acá. Así que, ya saben, si les gustó, dejen un me gusta, suscríbanse, comenten y nos vemos la semana que viene. Hasta la próxima.